So NELFT is a brilliant trust to work in if you're interested in research. There's a big research culture within NELFT, and NELFT's involved in lots of research, from large externally funded research projects to small projects that people are doing in their day-to-day practice. So that already means there's a culture of research being cultivated in the trust. So in terms of support, we're quite lucky. There's lots of opportunities. So the Research and Development Department offer monthly training workshops on a variety of research topics and areas. So if you have a particular interest or you want to skill up, you can attend those. There's lots of opportunities to be involved in the research that's being undertaken in NELFT at the moment. So there's opportunities to be something called a principal investigator on active studies that are running. I think also because of the research culture, there's lots of opportunities to have supervisory support and discuss your interests in research with your supervisor, who can be very flexible and accommodating about making sure you have opportunities to do research. That has been my experience in the trust over the last 10 years. And also, we're also always thinking about how to increase opportunities to support people to undertake research. So something we're looking into at the moment is setting up a research special interest group specifically for psychological professionals. So people interested in research across the trust can come together to discuss and share ideas and gain support to increase research in their practice. Yes, so as I mentioned, NELFT's involved in research from very large-scale research to smaller-scale studies as well. So to start with some of the larger ones, NELFT attracts a lot of National Institute for Health Research funding. So there's lots of studies funded by the NIHR, which is an external body that funds research in the NHS. So some of the recent studies we've had, a very exciting one that NELFT led on was a study called ADESI, which is looking at open dialogue, and it was a multi-centre randomised control trial, and NELFT was leading on that, so that was very exciting. There's also a study being undertaken at the moment that I'm involved in called RAPID, which is about reducing admissions to hospital through psychosocial intervention delivery. So it's a digital multi-site randomised control trial looking at digital interventions for suicide reduction for people in crisis. So there are a couple of examples of bigger studies, but we have lots of trainee psychologists and other psychological professionals doing smaller scale research, and lots of exciting things happening there as well. So lots of different things happening across the trust. We are aware that research is an important priority for many psychological professionals. As a clinical psychologist, it was an integral part of my training. So research has always been really important to me, and we very much acknowledge that as a trust. So as I mentioned, we're thinking of setting up a research special interest group that will be available to psychological professionals across the trust. And for me personally, I've had lots of flexibility and support through my supervision and management during my 10 years at NELFT to integrate research into my day-to-day work. So we would be thinking about that for any sort of post that is available in the trust. And we're always trying to think of innovative ways and linking more with the Research and Development Department in the Trust, as well as wider academic institutions, to build those relationships in hope that more opportunities will be available for research in the future as well. I think it's important, if you're interested and the passion's there, I think that's the first hurdle. So talk to your supervisor and manager. As I said, research is part of the culture within NELFT. I've been here for 10 years and started off doing smaller research and now involved in larger, bigger research studies in NELFT. And the important part for me was talking to my supervisor, thinking about it in the context of my objectives in my role and appraisal. So it was always on my supervision agenda. My supervisor was very supportive and flexible. And also take opportunities to do smaller scale research to start off with, so service evaluations, audits, quality improvement. It's always exciting opportunities to improve practice, and research is an important skill to do that. So take opportunities where you can, and also networking and linking with other people who might be undertaking research in your team or in the wider trust as well.